Welcome to my channel. I'm Jess, and this is Canyon Oracle, a place where we use divination tools like tarot and oracle cards to inspire healing and transformation in the lives of truth seekers just like you. I imagine if you found yourself at this pick a card reading today, you have a special someone in your life and you're wondering, what is our future together? Well, we're going to dive deeply in that today. But before we begin, I just want to remind you, you are the architect of your own life. You always have free will. You can always make a new choice and launch yourself into a whole new timeline. Also, these are just general readings, and some aspect of the reading may not apply to your life. Or you may choose a pile and none of it resonates with you at all. Please don't ever try to make it fit. Either scratch the pile, move on to another one, or move on to an entirely new pick a card video. There's so many great ones out there. I've loved watching them myself. Part of the reason why I love pick a card readings so much and why I actually chose to start this channel is because they really invite the viewer to tap into their own internal guidance system and learn how to use their own intuition. And if that's actually something that interests you, or if you have chosen a pile and you still want more insight into what your future looks like with this person, I have created a really powerful meditation that will help you in tapping into your own intuition, learning how to use your own internal guidance system, and actually getting a download from your higher self within the meditation. And I would love to gift this meditation to you. You can find it at canyonoracle.com/YT. You can also find it in the description box below. There are other things in the description box below as well, like the cards that I'm using in the reading. Also a link about how you can find out more about my work. I do live one-on-one intuitive coaching sessions via Zoom. So if that's something that interests you, you can find out about that below. If there's anything else that you're interested in and you don't find it in the description box below, please don't hesitate to leave me a comment. I promise I will get back to you. Oh, one final thing. I'm going to probably be using he, but please just insert whatever pronoun is appropriate for your person. So he or she or they or whatever works for you. Okay? Are we ready? Let's get started. We have 4 groups to choose from today. Group 1 is the citrine. Group 2 is the light blue quartz. Group 3 is the onyx stone, and group 4 is the pink quartz. I just invite you to take a moment to relax, to ground yourself in your body, hold your person in your mind's eye, and ask yourself the question, what is our future like together? And then choose a pile that most resonates with you. And I will see you on the other side. Hi, Group 1. Welcome to your reading. So I'm going to be using a variety of different kinds of cards. We're going to be using some tarot, some oracle cards. We'll go one by one, and then we'll just see the story that really wants to unfold, okay? So the question is, what does your future look like together? Do you have a future together, and what does it look like, right? Okay. So the first tarot card, now these are kind of non-traditional tarot cards, but they do come from the traditional tarot deck. Okay, so the first card that we have is the 9 of Wands, and in this deck it's spiritual strength. The next card we have is the 2 of Wands, and in this deck it's the waiting game. Interesting, so we have a lot of wands to get started with, all right? So fiery energy. Then the next card is the 6 of Cups, the memories of love. That's water energy. Ooh, and the last card we have is the Empress card, and in this deck it's fertility. So let's just look at the tarot cards before we go into the oracle. We'll go one by one again, and then we'll just see the story that wants to unfold. So the first card that we have, again, is the Nine of Wands. And the Nine of Wands traditionally is a man standing in front of 9 wands that he's been placing there over time with hard work and dedication. A lot of times in the card, the man is bandaged and looks like he's been through some sort of a war. It indicates strength, fortitude, dedication. As we see in this card, it's spiritual strength he talks about in this card. To me, this really is about putting a lot of time and energy and effort into something over time. And with that dedication comes strength. It is the 9, so we're almost at the end of the cycle. So we're not quite at the 10. There are sort of obstacles, but they are in the 9s, in the world of the 9, I see them as sometimes internal or spiritual obstacles, because the wands are fire energy. They represent passion, purpose, and also spirituality in a lot of ways. That's why I really love the representation of spiritual strength on this card in particular. So it feels like there is this sort of Saturnian energy within the dynamic of this relationship. In other words, you have the strength, literally the strength and the dedication that it takes for a long-term relationship, because we all know that it takes effort, it takes dedication, it takes loyalty, it takes strength over time. So this is a really great card actually to start with for the future of a relationship together, because this is someone who does not give up. Then it's interesting, we move on to the Two of Wands. So we're sort of moving back energetically in the wands. I don't look at this sort of in a linear fashion though, so we'll see how it all again plays out together. So the Two of Wands traditionally is about kind of making a choice and setting out a plan to move forward. In this deck, it's the waiting game, and I chose to use this deck for a reason. So we're not going to ignore specifically what this card means or is saying. Waiting. So we're not there yet. Again, we're at the 9, we're not quite at the 10, then we move back to the 2. So it is like we're not quite sure. It feels like neither one of you or your person, are quite sure about your future together, which is probably why you find yourself at this video today, right? It's like, what is the future together? Then we move on to the Six of Cups. And in this deck, it's memories of love. And the Six of Cups is, for a lot of people, it's like the soulmate card, because, and here we see memories, it's like there is a past energy of love. So traditionally in the tarot deck, it's like 2 young children outside in the springtime, and there's an offering. Oftentimes the little boy is handing the little girl flowers. So it is like an exchange of love and appreciation and gratitude. And it also has this memory, this feeling of the past that comes in to play with the Six of Cups. But we can also see it as a past life relationship. And in this deck, I really feel strongly that it is more about a past life than just like someone from your past. However, it could be someone from your past. And it could be someone from your past in this life who also was from a past life. And in my view, our relationships tend to repeat themselves lifetime after lifetime. So if this is an important person to you in this life, I would venture to say they have been in other lives with you as well. And for whatever reason, the cards want us to look at that. That is playing into the dynamics that you have today. It feels very strongly to me like there's some past life energy that is moving through whatever it is that you guys are currently going through together. And we'll see if that gets clear as we go through the reading. The next card that we have is the Empress card, and this is a beautiful card, again about cycles, interestingly enough. And we are seeing, I do feel strongly that there is, like I said, this sort of past life energy, or maybe the sort of cyclical nature of your relationship in some way. This is a very positive card, the Empress card, to get. This is a card of fertility, of abundance, of love. She is like the goddess card. There's Venus represented in many decks, which is, the planet of union, relationship, beauty, harmony. It's a wonderful card to get for the future of a relationship. So it's interesting that the question that we're asking is about the future, but it does feel like the past is being represented here as well. So again, there is some, interesting. I'm noticing in this Two of Wands that there is this cycle. Do you see this? And also the hourglass represented. This time, this element of time is really being expressed in this reading right now. So something is going on, and maybe if it's resonating with you right now, if there's something coming up for you about your relationship and what happened before, and that it's feels like it's happening again, that's important for you to see. Your higher self wants you to remember, what is that that's repeating itself right now in this cycle? Because if it's something challenging, then it needs to be healed. If it's something beautiful, then it doesn't need to be healed, but maybe it's something that you need to look at to give you faith in your future moving forward. Does that make sense? And if this is a new person in your life, I can see very clearly that the cards want you to know that it's not a new person necessarily, and that you have been together before this lifetime. And there is a really beautiful cycle that is repeating itself. It comes with challenges, it comes with dedication, it comes with work, but there's no sword energy here. There's nothing that's indicating any sort of conflict or aggression. It just feels like there are some things that you're working through. So let's see what the other cards have to say, and we'll see. Oh, cute. You got, for your romance angels, you got flirt, and it says, extend your lighthearted energy to others. So maybe there is some sort of like, you see how he's holding this wall down over his head? Maybe there's been some really heavy energy in this dynamic with this person, and the cards are telling you to lighten up, because it's okay to, relationships ebb and flow. Life ebbs and flows. Not everything is going to feel good and happy and joyous. And it's okay to go through these challenging times, and it doesn't mean that you won't experience goodness again. But I feel like the cards are telling you to really lighten up, to remember that this relationship is supposed to be fun. And if you want a future together, you both want to feel good about that future, right? You don't want it to feel like a drudgery, like, oh, let's just put in our time and we'll make it through somehow. It's like, yeah, of course, that's a part of it. But also, like, love should be fun. It should be exciting. It should feel fulfilling and abundant and sensual and pleasurable, So I feel like the cards are saying, remember, there's pleasure here. There's so much pleasure to be had inside of this relationship. So then let's look at the oracle card. So we have no place like home. And it was in the reverse. So I like to look at the light and the dark in all aspects of the card. So sometimes if they're reversed, I will just sort of like take note of it, but I don't think things are ever black or white. I think that there is a full spectrum of shadow and light in everything in life. So I think it's important to see how all of the patterns sort of play out and how they all fit together. So when I see this card, No Place Like Home, in reverse, it does indicate someone who's not being themselves, who's not comfortable in their own skin, who can't sort of settle in and get cozy. So there's something about this relationship that has you feeling heavy and maybe defensive, because sometimes the Nine of Wands can have a defensive energy about it. So you may be sort of like waiting, putting up some boundaries, like, I don't know about this person, I'm not really sure, but I think it's okay for you to settle in and lighten your load a little bit. Put your wands down, put your defenses down, put your masks down, and get cozy. Get lighthearted. Enjoy this experience as much as you can. And really, what we focus on expands. That's the reality, right? So the more you can flirt, the more you can get playful with this person, the more you can just relax and be yourself and allow your real authentic light to shine through. This card really reminds me of the Hermit card in a lot of ways, because we see, I don't know if you know the Hermit card in the tarot deck. It is like an old man on top of a hill with a lantern in his hand. And it does often indicate someone who spends a lot of time alone, very much like a hermit. But I also see the card as someone who has put in a lot of work over time to really understand themselves and allow that wisdom that they get through self-reflection over time to shine the light on other people. So their own internal wisdom is contributing to the people around them, life around them. So what this is telling me is the more you can be yourself and the more you can let your own light shine, obviously the more comfortable you're going to be in your own skin and the more playful you'll be with this person and the easier it will be for you guys to see a future together. And I just see the little house. So it's like there is this cozy home life that's waiting for the two of you together. So if you are wondering if this is a good person for you or if you should put in your time, I see very clearly that the cards are saying, yeah, absolutely. You do have a future together. It is right there. Not only do you have a future, but you had a past, either one that you remember or one that happened before this memory. There is beautiful, abundant, loving energy there as well. So go ahead and relax and get cozy and take off your masks and allow your real light to shine so this person can see it and so you can start to build a more stable future together. Now, the last card that I want to read is a message to you, and I'm going to actually wear my glasses for this card because I can't read because the type is so low, or so small rather. And this last card I really just wanted to pull as a message from your higher self that your higher self wanted you to hear in regard to this person. And the card that you got is forgiveness, interestingly enough, which actually absolutely plays into the energy of the Nine of Wands. And like I was saying, so maybe you do have a long history with this person, and maybe things haven't really played out in the material world the way that you want them to, which is why you're at this reading, because you're wondering like, gosh, it's been really challenging in a lot of ways. Do we have a peaceful future together? And maybe the way to that future is through forgiveness. Maybe you guys have had a lot of obstacles, or they've done things that you haven't liked. So maybe the answer is really forgiveness, because the truth is, the way that we escape the wheels of karma, so the way that we escape having the same old patterns that don't work for us anymore, how do we get out of that? Is forgiveness. Forgiveness for ourselves and for the other. So this may not just be about forgiving this other person. This may be about forgiving yourself. And the more you can you forgive yourself for bad choices or behavior, because let's be honest, we all do stupid things. All the time. That's what it is to be a human being. Nobody escapes our humanity. So forgive yourself. It's okay. You are doing the best you can. And I imagine that they are too. And there is a lot of love here. Forgiveness is not something to be taken lightly, and I appreciate that. So I don't say it flippantly. Oh, just forgive yourself. Forgive this person. Here's the deal. It takes work to forgive, but what a great thing to know where to put your time and effort, right? If you know that there's something about forgiveness that could create a more beautiful future for yourself and your person, well, then you know where to put your energy and where to go to work, right? So let's read the card. So it says forgiveness. Healing comes from acceptance. Help me, dear Lord, to fully accept what is, knowing that this alone will open me to the new. Interesting. So there's something about this relationship that you've been resisting. Definitely with the 9 of Wands. And you've been waiting to make a decision, probably. You've been resisting fully committing. Maybe you've been resisting fully relaxing and being yourself with this person. And they are saying it's okay to accept yourself for all the ways that you are and are not perfect, right? It's okay to accept your person. Sometimes I feel like in today's day and age, we are programmed to believe that love is supposed to be perfect and that real love is supposed to be a particular way, that we're all supposed to get along so well, that things should be easy. We always hear this BS. I'm sorry, but when I met the one, I just knew and everything worked out just perfectly. Well, that has not been my experience at all in love. I'll tell you something. My experience in love has been very similar to my experience in most things in life, which is it's hard work. And the more effort and work I put into it, and at the same time relax and allow myself to open up, allow my heart to open up, as I'm also putting in focused attention, the deeper and more fulfilling that love becomes. When I accept myself and my person for all the ways that they are and are not what I want them to be, right? Because that is life. The more I can accept life to be what it is, the happier I am, the more in love I feel. And that comes with a playful, lighthearted energy as well. You can't be playful and lighthearted if you are carrying around resentments, or if you're feeling like I should be a different way. I need to be funnier or skinnier or younger in order to be loved by this person. Or this person needs to have more money or be taller or be funnier or be slimmer in order for me to love this person. Guess what? Love happens despite all of our flaws. And the more you realize that, the more you get to experience love right now in this present moment. Not off in the future someday, but right now. That's where love is, right now in this present moment. And your access to that love is through acceptance and forgiveness. How beautiful and simple. Not easy, but simple. So I think this is such a beautiful message. It really kind of came together so beautifully. So again, it's like there has been a lot of energy of maybe defensiveness, of hard work, of reluctance, of sort of waiting, not wanting to make a choice. But really the cards are asking you just to accept yourself and this person and life for what it is right now in this present moment. Allow your own heart to shine. Be lighthearted, flirt, deal with whatever resentments you need to deal with, and enjoy this person because there's a lot of love there for you to enjoy right now in this present moment. So I hope that resonated with you. I hope that it gave you insight and clarity and maybe some peace of mind and excitement about life. I would love to hear what it was like for you, all of it that resonated and didn't resonate with you in the comments below. Also, if you could give me a thumbs up, that would be amazing. And even subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be doing a lot of pick a card readings. Every Sunday I'll be posting them. And I also have a really powerful meditation that I'm giving away for free that I would love to give to you. When you sign up to get the meditation, you also get a discount with me for a reading for the first time, if that's something that you're interested in. And I'll also sign you up for my mailing list. And you can find this free meditation to sign up for all that stuff at canyanoracle.com/YT. And I just send you so much love and light. I thank you for your time and attention. And until next time, be well. Hi, Group 2. Welcome to your reading. Okay, so we're going to be using a variety of different cards. We're going to be using some non-traditional tarot cards, some romance angels, some oracle cards, and at the end, I'm going to pull one specific card for you that's a message from your higher self. So we'll look at each card and sort of the meaning of it, and then we'll see as it sort of plays out the story that wants to be told. I look at both the light and the shadow of each aspect of each card because I don't believe anything is ever black or white. I think there's a full spectrum of experience in everything in life. So that will be played out as well in this reading. Okay, so the first card that we have is the Five of Swords. This is a Five of Swords in traditional tarot, and in this deck, it is conflict and defeat. The next card that we have is the Three of Pentacles. In this deck, it is recognition and reward. The next card we have is the Seven of Pentacles. And in this deck, it is patience and planning. Interesting. And the last card that we have is the Four of Swords. In this deck, it's rest and rejuvenation. So let's just look at the tarot first, and we'll see what is sort of playing out here. Okay, so the first card again is the Five of Swords. So the Five of Swords is a card of conflict, and interestingly enough, he says defeat in this deck. But traditionally, it's not a card of defeat, actually. It's like there's a guy in the traditional Rider-Waite tarot deck. In case you don't know, there's a guy who is holding all these swords and he's sort of walking away after a battle, and there's two guys behind him who have no swords and they're walking away defeated. So yeah, it can represent the guys who've been defeated, but really the energy in my view is about the guy who won the fight. But we always ask in that card, that question really is, at what cost? So yeah, he won the fight, but what did it cost him? So in a way, he was defeated. But some people look at that card as a card of victory in many ways. So let me just it's interesting. I'm noticing the candle in this card that he's falling down toward. So like he's all in this darkness, and yet he's falling down toward the light. And I also see on the wall that there are there's drawings of men running up the wall. Do you see that? And I've used this deck for a million years, so I don't always see those things in this card. So it's interesting to me. It makes me feel like there is some story. It makes me feel like the conflict in this relationship is internal for you. There's some story that's going on that is different from what's really going on. So there's some illusions or internal conflict. It doesn't feel like it's external to me. It may be, you might be fighting with this person a lot and wondering what the heck is going on in the future, but my sense is it's more like it's an internal conflict. The good news is you are heading towards the light, which means illumination, which means insight, which means moving out of the darkness of conflict into the light of peace and harmony. So the next card we have is the Three of Pentacles. Now, in the traditional tarot deck, the Three of Pentacles is about putting in sort of work over time with other people. A lot of times it's about like partnerships, working together in teams with something that will withstand over time. In this card, it's about recognition and reward. That's interesting. It's like reward for your work, the work that you've been putting in. So maybe there's something that you haven't been recognized by this person yet in some way. They haven't expressed themselves to you. What I'm noticing right off the get-go too, I just want to mention, is that we have swords and we have pentacle energy. So there's not a lot of, so the swords are like the mind, power, a lot of times it's conflict. And the pentacle energy is this earthy, grounding energy of health and money and all of this sort of earthly things. And the cups are like emotional energy, or the wands are like passionate energy, and we don't have those yet here. So it doesn't feel like there is a lot of heart, love being represented in this spread just yet. So then we move on to the Seven of Pentacles. And the Seven of Pentacles is a card about waiting. It's a card about like, I've put in all this work into something and now I want to see, is this going to pay off? Kind of like the bookkeeping part of the business, right? So it's like, okay, I started this business. I've put in a couple years now. Now I'm going to go to the books and see like, are all these things really matching up? Am I really making money? Is there really profit? Like, when is this going to pay off? And in this card, it's patience and planning. So it is like you really haven't seen anything yet and you are conflicted. It feels like that's what's going on. It's like you have been putting in some time into this relationship. Maybe it's a friendship. Maybe it's not romantic yet. Then we move on to the Four of Swords. And in the Swords deck, this is a very peaceful energy. It's actually like a balanced mind. And it is like in rest and rejuvenation is what it says on this card in his deck. And that's what the Four of Swords is about: rest and rejuvenation, meditation, like distance, sleep, rest. So it feels like that's really the energy right now that you're dealing with, that you've pulled away. Maybe there's a distance in the relationship. So it's either that you've been in this relationship for some time and there's a break. There's been a break. And now you are reassessing things and you're pulling your energy back and you're like, I don't know, what are we doing here? Or there has never been a romantic connection yet inside of this relationship, that it is like a friend thing, that maybe you're attracted to this person, but nothing has really come into fruition yet. And you're, again, just like assessing and checking things out and what's going on. So let's see what the Oracle cards have to say, and we'll see the greater story that's being unfolded. More about waiting. So the romance angel that you got is worth waiting for. So it says divine timing is at work in your love life. So obviously, the cards want you to be patient. They are telling you, if you were wondering, let me just tell you this right off the get-go, that like, if you were wondering if you should do something about this, the cards are saying, no, you don't need to do anything right now. Because there is a pause that's happening. And interesting, you don't have any major arcana cards. So that just tells me that whatever it is that you're dealing with right now, this internal conflict, this pause, it is temporary. It's not the sort of larger theme of the relationship. It's just what you're in right now. It's like you've hit a pause button and you're probably going around in your mind about what's going on. So let's see what other cards we have. Interesting. We have the Fates, and it's in reverse. And again, I do like to look at both the light and the shadow of cards. So the Fates is literally like about destiny. You see the stars here? It's like, it's fated. It's in the stars. So whatever is going on and I see stars actually in this patience and planning card too. So it is, I'm learning about astrology right now. So it feels very sort of like, it's in your charts, you know? It's in the stars. It is sort of karmic, this relationship. So whatever the conflict is that you're dealing with is also karmic. So either the internal conflict that's going on in your head, you need to deal with that in some way because it's showing you a pattern in your life that needs to be healed. Or if it's a conflict between you, you also want to look at that. What is that conflict? Because you need to move through it to move out of this pause energy to actually move towards this relationship. So what is your future together? Honestly, it's not totally clear. We're going to look at the last card and see if that sort of sums it up for us, but it really doesn't feel like whatever it is, it's fated. Okay. So what that tells me is you don't need to worry about making anything happen inside of this relationship. If the internal conflict that what you've been going through is, what should I do? What should I not do? I don't know. You don't have to do anything. It's in the stars. It's worth waiting for. It will unfold in divine timing. Divine timing is at play in your love life. So maybe this lesson for you right now is about how to find peace within confusion. You know, how do you find peace of mind when you don't know what the heck is going on? That's hard to do because as human beings, we want to know what's happening, right? I mean, that's why you're at this pick a card reading. Believe me, I have been in many pick a card readings myself, wondering or asking my tarot cards, wondering what's going on in my romantic relationship because we want to know. We want to know, should I be putting my effort into this relationship? Is it going to work out? The cards are saying, yes, you should continue to put your energy into this relationship. It is worth waiting for. You know, what is the final outcome? I don't know. It's not here, which means that you're not supposed to know. Because your lesson is finding peace in the not knowing. And love will always take us on the perfect journey of our own unfoldment, our own awakening to prepare us for love. So if you don't experience love inside of this relationship, if this relationship doesn't turn out to be your husband or your wife, that's okay. If you allow yourself to learn the lessons that are coming up inside of this dynamic. And it seems very clearly that the lessons inside of this dynamic for you are about patience, about peace of mind, about finding that still small voice within you that says, you're okay right now. You don't have to worry about your future anymore. Because guess what? Peace, love, fulfillment are all happening right here in this present moment. And it's interesting, that is the theme that seems to be playing out like in the last reading and in this one. It is about, you have 3 cards about patience and planning. So life is happening right now in this present moment. This relationship with this person is happening right now in this present moment. You want to pull your energy back to this present moment and allow yourself to open up to whatever lessons are presenting themselves to you right now. And if you do, if you start to find that peace and that reassurance and that acceptance within, despite what's going on the outside, despite how unclear everything is between the two of you, you will allow yourself to step more deeply into love. Love of yourself, love of the other, which will prepare you more fully for a loving relationship, either with this person or with someone else. So let's look at the last card, which I pulled specifically for you to have a message from your higher self. So let's see what it says. So you got the card of despair. Now this is a card, again, this is what your higher self wanted to let you know about this relationship. So this card of despair says, I need your divine intercession right now, O great spirit. Lift this darkness from my soul. Free me from this burden. Open me to your highest plan. May I be a peaceful vessel for your love. So, you are clearly going through some internal conflict right now, okay? And you might be feeling in despair. You might be feeling hopeless. But the cards want you to know that everything is divinely ordered. Everything is in divine timing. So no matter what's going on right now, it's exactly the way it should be. You don't have to worry about fixing anything, about changing anything. On the contrary, all you have to deal with is yourself and your own mind. So I would invite you to meditate, to pray, if that's not something that you're already doing. The cards are clearly asking you to do that, and to start to cultivate real faith in your life. Faith that all of life is always working for your highest good. Faith that everything turns out exactly the way that it should. Faith that there is a higher source that is working through your life in service of your highest good. And this higher source, this God, this omnipresence, knows everything, is handling everything for you. It is not your job to manage your love life. Let God manage your love life. I know that sounds overly simplistic, but it's not. It's very challenging to accept your life as it is and to really stop trying to control things, right? To really just allow life to be what it is and ask for a higher intelligence, which is really unconditional love, right? It is that energy of love, which is what creates a real loving union, which is what true love is at its essence, right? So this experience of true love that you want with your person, it wants for you to have it as well. It is that life force energy. But to get there, you have to deal with your mind. You have to deal with I imagine my sense is that you are either a worrywart, which I get because I have been myself, I understand. You think the worst about things. Is that true? You have a tendency to always think the worst. So you think this isn't going to work out. This person is going to screw me over, whatever that is. And Spirit is really asking for you to start to develop some faith within yourself and within life in general. So I would invite you to start to keep track of all the ways that life worked out when you thought it wasn't going to. Go back through your life and say, gosh, those times when I was worrying, like, how was I going to make the rent? How was I going to get this job? How was this relationship? It always worked out, didn't it? And it wasn't because of you necessarily. Usually those times when we're like, I have no idea how it's all going to work out. It is this mysterious force, right? Well, that mysterious force is God, is life itself, is the creative potential of life, is unconditional love, that God source energy. And that same source is what's always moving through your life and always handling everything for you and is always in service of your greatest good. So you don't have to worry about things not working out. Life is not black or white, right? Life is like this steady cycle of unfoldment. And the more you surrender to life the way it is or is not, and you accept yourself and others for exactly the way they are and they aren't, the more you feel peace right now in this present moment. So I think that journaling, meditation, prayer would really, really serve you and serve your relationship. So that you can learn to start to feel good despite what's going on in your relationships, right? Isn't that the goal? Because the truth is, even if you end up with this person, right, and everything works out and you're so happy in the end, the truth is, I know this sounds like so negative, but the truth is the person could die, in 20 years from now, you could get a divorce. This is the nature of life. There is death and new life all the time. Life is cyclical. So the more you can cultivate that sense of peace and fulfillment and faith in the present moment, the more beautiful your life will be. And the more available you will be to true love, because you won't be so scared. If you have the energy of fear and you're gripping all the time, worried about the next thing that's gonna come down your pike, your heart can't be open to love. And you deserve love. So it seems like the cards your higher self are asking you right now to start to cultivate that peace in the present moment, which is easier said than done, absolutely. But we have beautiful tools like meditation, journaling, prayer that can support you in doing that. I know that's probably not what you wanted to hear. Obviously, you wanted to hear, what's going to happen with this person. And I'm sorry, but I don't see it. I can see that there is potential, right? Because we do have worth waiting for. Absolutely, don't give up on this connection. But more importantly, don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your own well-being that you can work on despite what happens in this relationship. Does that make sense? So I really hope that this gave you some peace of mind right now in the present moment. I hope this gave you some insight. I would love to hear what it was like for you in the comments below. If you did enjoy the reading, I'd love a thumbs up, and maybe even if you could subscribe to my channel, that would be amazing. I'm going to be doing pick a card readings every Sunday. Also, if you do want support in learning how to really tap into that own internal guidance and going within, I've created a really beautiful meditation that's free that I would love to give to you. You can find that at canyanoracle.com/YT. It's also in the description box below. I send you so much love and so much light. And thank you so much for your time and your attention. And until next time, be well. Hi, Group 3. Welcome to your reading. So I use a variety of different kinds of cards. We use tarot and some oracle cards, some romance angels. The tarot deck that I chose to use today is not a traditional tarot deck, but I felt like it was the appropriate one for this reading. So we're going to go card by card, and then we'll see sort of the larger story that unfolds. Okay. So the first card that we have is the Judgment card. And in this deck, it's Truth. Now, also in this deck, we get some chakras, which is cool. So we got the crown chakra for you, the 7th chakra. So these are some major archetypes, some big energies that you're working with in this relationship. The next card that we got for you is the 9 of Pentacles, material harvest in this deck. And then the next card that we got is the 7 of Wands, stand your ground in this deck. Interesting. So I see 2 7s here. So that is really about bringing sort of heaven down to earth. We start with a major arcana, then we move on to this chakra, the 7th chakra, which is the crown chakra, is, where we get downloads from the divine, where you get intuitive guidance from your higher self. It comes right down through this crown chakra at the top of your head. So let's start with the first card. So the first card is the Judgment card. And you see the scales in this card. This card is about very literally judgment, and not necessarily in a negative way at all. It's about assessing things, weighing things, figuring out the truth, very literally. Like, what is true, what is not true, kind of going back. It can be like self-assessment, like going back and thinking, what was my behavior like during that fight? Or did I say the right thing? Or could I have done this differently? Or, sort of like that, really kind of looking at your own behavior and weighing yourself, weighing your own morals. Is that alignment? Is that behavior in alignment with my integrity? Do I feel good about who I am inside of this relationship, etc.? So there are some big questions, or this card can also be about like rejuvenation or second chances or starting over. But I think that it comes with this weighing things out and really assessing things first. So it feels like you are in this period of weighing the good and the bad in a way, like the all the things that worked and all the things that didn't work inside of yourself and this other person, and then seeing, like, do I want to give this more energy? Where are we at here? Which is probably why you're at this reading, right? Because you are wondering, where are we at here and where are we going? So the next, again, is the crown chakra. And again, this is about intuitive guidance. So you are absolutely getting downloads from your higher self. You are getting insight about this relationship, psychic insight about this relationship, which probably means that this is a big deal relationship. It doesn't feel like a new relationship. This feels like a relationship that's been going on over time, because this Judgment card is not something that comes out of, a week-long fling. This is long-term kind of stuff here, going back and really assessing the energies over time. And so there's something that your higher self wants you to know about this relationship that that you haven't been seeing in some way. So we'll see what that is. Then the next card that we have is the 9 of Pentacles. And in this deck, it's material wealth. So the Pentacles are absolutely about the material realm, health, finances, etc. In the traditional tarot deck, the 9 of Pentacles is a single woman, typically, standing inside of a beautiful garden, and she's got a beautiful dress on. She has a bird on her shoulders, like a falcon, and his eyes are covered. And for some reason, I'm thinking of that right now, that like there is something about this that is, I'm just getting that like maybe this person has a lot of money or something. And you are feeling like if you stayed with this person or married this person or whatever, like there would be a lot of financial abundance. It feels like this relationship comes with a lot of either money or like a house or something that makes you feel comfortable in the material realm. And then the last tarot card that we have for you is the Seven of Wands. And this is the Stand Your Ground card in this deck and in the traditional tarot. It really is about standing up for yourself. It's not sword energy. So it's not like combative, like deeply argumentative or, aggressive necessarily. But it is asking you to stand up for yourself in some way. So maybe you've been giving your power away to this person because they have a lot of money, or because they have a lot of clout, or they have a lot of stability, financial stability in some way that's maybe intimidating to you in some way. And maybe you have been not speaking up for yourself, not standing up for yourself in some way. You've been giving your power away, but your higher self wants you to know that actually you have the value here, and that it's not just about material wealth, value. And you know that. You know that your value doesn't come from money. Your value comes from your inherent goodness as a spiritual being. You are an infinite spark of the divine. You are God incarnate in the physical realm. You are valuable just because you're alive. And all the relationships in your life that you've had, the value that you get inside of your relationships has nothing to do with what people give you materially. It has everything to do with the love, the heart, the intelligence, the wisdom that people attribute to you, that give to you. So, and I say attribute because that's what it feels like. It feels like you are the kind of person that has a lot of wisdom. You are deep. You are wise. Yes, there is the divine spark of creation within you. Yes, you are inherently valuable, but I see that you have a lot more value than that. And maybe you haven't been giving yourself enough credit for all this value that you have. Like, you contribute a lot to people's lives. And I think that maybe you're not seeing that in some way. And you have been giving your power away. Like I said, it keeps coming up. You've been giving your power away to this other person, right? Even in asking, what is our future together? It's like you're hoping that this person somehow is going to be giving to you. But I think that you're the one that has the most to give inside of this relationship. I'm not saying that you can't get a lot from this person as well, but I do think that it's important that you start to really see your own value and stand up for yourself. So let's see what the other cards have to say. Interesting, past life relationship. You have known each other before. So this Judgment card can also kind of feel like a past life energy, and that there is something that's coming back again. That's an interesting theme that's been coming up in these readings, this past life energy. And I do feel that any important relationship in our life today is probably not new. I do think that we cycle life after life with the same soul group. So this person has been in your life before, and they are here again to probably teach you something about your own value and standing up for yourself. The next card we have is the Observer card in reverse. So I like to look at cards. Yes, reversals are important, but I think it's more important to look at the shadow and the light of each aspect of the card. So the Observer card is really about taking a step back and getting a greater perspective. Oh, that's why I was thinking of in the Nine of Pentacles, how she has the falcon on her shoulder with the eye, with the blindfolds over her eyes. So it feels like, I don't know what your situation with this person is, but it feels like I'm getting the sense that you either would be or already are like a kept woman inside this relationship. Like you would have this nice cushy life, but there's something about it that you wouldn't be free to fully be yourself. Now, you could change that at any moment, and you could still fully show up as yourself and be free inside the dynamics of this relationship. But right now, it doesn't feel like that. It feels like the cards are saying you need to start to see your own value, and you need to take a step back and really look from a higher perspective here. Like, take the time to even sit down and do a list. Honestly, what are all the minuses, all the things that are working, all the things that are not working? You know, what have I loved about this relationship? What have I not loved about this relationship? And even myself. Because there are some spiritual downloads here that your higher self is wanting to tell you. And again, I think it's very much about you starting to acknowledge your own value. And maybe that is also about you realizing your own potential to create financial wealth and stability for yourself in your own life, that you don't need this person to create that for you. Now, I'm all for sharing resources and supporting one another inside of partnerships, but it does feel like for me that the guidance here is really like maybe there's something within you, like a business idea or something like that, that you have been putting on the back burner for this relationship, or in sort of fantasizing about being with this person takes you away from your life purpose in some way, which again, doesn't mean that you can't fulfill your life purpose or whatever mission you have, in contributing to life or making a living or both, because it doesn't, we don't always have to make a living through doing our life purpose, right? But there's something about you creating this financial stability in your life that is important for you. And I don't think that you've been really seeing how much potential you have with this. And somehow they've been conflated, like relationship and success or something. I used to have that. I mean, I remember thinking for many years of my life that if I used to be an actor, and I used to think, if I'm a successful actress, I'm not going to be able to have a relationship as well, because you can't have both. And that was a part of my programming, because I saw it in my grandmother was very successful, and I always thought that she didn't have happy relationships with men because she was so successful. And there, a lot of times as women, and you may be a man watching this, but let's assume you're a woman. We as women, we have this deep programming that we have to choose partnership or work, and that we can't have both. But I'm here to tell you, you can have both. I'm not one of those people that says you can have it all, not necessarily, but you can absolutely create financial stability for yourself and have a beautiful relationship. So if this person is not allowing you to do that, then you want to ask yourself, why? And is it really coming from this other person, or is it coming from you? Okay, so this last card that we have for you is a card that I pulled. I wanted a specific message for you from your higher self about this relationship. So that's what this card is for. And let's see what this says. I mean, I'm sorry I'm laughing, but it is crazy how accurate tarot cards, oracle cards can be. Sometimes it just blows me away, because I did not look at these cards before I did this reading, but you got the card of self-sufficiency. So this card says the ultimate self-sufficiency is relying on God. It doesn't mean hiding in a cave and saying, I don't need people. Instead, it's saying, God is my source, and I am willing to receive all the help, love, and support that wants to come. So now I know that I was talking about finances, right? But it is the same thing about self-sufficiency. It's like you have some fears or some stories in your head about that you can't take care of yourself, and that you need, so maybe this isn't really even about money. Maybe it's just about you taking care of yourself. And maybe there's something about you or this relationship that has you worried about, being able to handle life on your own. I'm here to tell you that God is your source. You are not alone. And this one person is not your source. That one job is not your source. The eternal God is your source. That means that life is always moving in service of your highest good. So you don't have to worry about that one opportunity or that one person, because if divinity is your source, this omnipresence is your source, that means, and I don't know, what your beliefs are, but I imagine if you're watching a tarot reading, you have a sense that there is something else moving through your life than just the tangible material realm, right? And what is that magic and mystery? That magic and mystery is God, is spirit, is the universe, whatever you want to call it. And that energy is always moving in your life. It is life. And that energy is infinite and eternal, which means that that one person is never going to fulfill everything for you, but God will. You are never alone. God is always there. You are never without. God is always providing. So the lesson here for you is to stop looking at that person to source you in some way. Find that source within yourself. Connect to your higher source so that you can get to really know how valuable you are. And then through that grounded sense of self-love and self-sufficiency and self-confidence and really standing up for yourself, then you can really be a powerful partner with anyone. And then you don't ever have to feel like desperate for anyone either. So whether it works out with this person or not is irrelevant, because you are always okay. You are better than okay. You're awesome. Yeah? So again, the cards are saying it's okay for you to sit down and evaluate and really look back on what works and what doesn't work inside of this relationship, and look at your own behavior. Maybe you've done some things that you're not so proud of in relation to this desperate feeling that you have about getting things from other people. You don't need to do that anymore. God will always provide you whatever you need through whatever channel is right there. So it's this person or it's another person or it's another person. Doesn't matter. God doesn't care who it is. God doesn't care who you marry or what house you live in or what you do for a living. God is always moving through your life. Always, 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 always. God is always providing you every answer that you need straight through your crown chakra, right into your mind's eye. You are valuable and you deserve to stand up for yourself. And this relationship is coming from a past life energy. It's here to teach you something. And you may absolutely have a future with this person. But right now, it's about you finding the value within yourself, standing up for yourself, learning how self-sufficient you can be through your connection to divinity. Really getting a clear perspective here about who you are and what's been going on. Then you can really stand in your full power and be the perfect partner for your perfect partner, the one that God wants for you, that your higher self wants for you. So that is your reading today. I hope that it resonated with you. I would love to hear what it was like for you. Please leave me a comment in the description box below if you have anything you want to share. A thumbs up would be amazing as well. Even subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be doing pick a card readings every Sunday, so maybe there's other ones that might speak to you. If you want to practice really connecting to your higher self and learning to use your own intuition and trusting your own internal guidance, I have created a really powerful meditation that will support you in doing that. And it's a free meditation. You can find it at canyanoracle.com/YT. Also, when you sign up for that meditation, you'll get a discount for your first reading with me, if that's something that interests you. And thank you so much for your time and attention. I send you so much love and light. And until next time, be well. Hi, Group 4. Welcome to your reading. So I use a variety of different kinds of cards. We're going to use some non-traditional tarot cards, some romance angels, some oracle cards. At the end, I'm going to pull one card that is a direct message from your higher self to you in regard to this relationship. So I look at the light and the shadow aspects of each of the cards. We'll go sort of one by one, and then we'll see the larger story that's really unfolding. Okay, here we go. Okay, the first card that we have for you is the Eight of Cups. And in this deck, it's emotional withdrawal. The next card that we have for you is the Emperor, a major arcana. And in this deck, it is authority. The next card that we have for you is the Four of Pentacles. In this deck, it's firm foundation. Wow. An 8 and 2 4s. Interesting. And the next card that we have for you is the Three of Wands. And this is partnerships and alliances in this deck. Okay, let's just look at the tarot and see what we have before we move on to the oracle cards. So the Eight of Cups is a card sometimes about leaving something, literally leaving something, emotionally withdrawing from something. So this card could be about a breakup. Absolutely. It could be like, I am leaving this situation. There's been too much pain and suffering inside of this relationship, and I am moving on. But it can also be about deepening a relationship and going on to a greater commitment, because in the major arcana, or in the regular tarot deck, in the Rider-Waite regular tarot deck, it shows a man with the 8 cups behind him. His back is to the cups, and he's walking with a stick under the light of the moon out onto like a mountain range. And he's clearly leaving these old cups behind to go out onto like a new adventure where he can't quite see what's in front of him. You know, we don't know what's on the other side of that mountain, but he is courageously going on this journey into like a deeper level of emotional, in some ways it could be an emotional commitment. I did choose this deck for a reason. I felt called to use this deck for this reading. So we do want to see what it says on this card. And it does say emotional withdrawal. So that does tell me that someone is emotionally withdrawing here. And maybe it's your person. And maybe that's why you find yourself at this reading, because you're confused about what's going on because they've withdrawn. The next card that we have is the Emperor. So this is like, the father archetype. He is older, typically in traditional tarot decks. He is, a grounded businessman, father, entrepreneur, grandfather. He owns many things. He looks over many things. He is sometimes controlling and dominating, but he's stable. He's a good partner. I mean, he is the divine masculine in many ways. He is a grounded, stable, committed, loyal partner. So this is a good card to get for a future partnership. Then we have the Four of Pentacles. So the Four of Pentacles traditionally in the tarot deck is like a guy that's holding all his pentacles on, like covering his head and covering his heart. And we know this card can sometimes mean being closed off or sort of hoarding or holding too closely. It could also be about savings. In this deck, it's firm foundation. Very similar in a way to the Emperor card. So it is like, and in this deck, we have two peaks. So, you see we have the mountain in the background and the pyramid there. So it's like, how do you get to these peaks? Because life has peaks and valleys, right? It's hard to climb to the top of the mountain. It's with a firm foundation. The higher you want to go, the firmer your foundation has to be, right? Like if you want to build a skyscraper, you better make sure that your foundation is firm. And if you want a future with someone, if you want to get married and start a family with someone, you have to make sure that that relationship is on solid ground. So although it can indicate someone who is shut down in some way, I feel like with this deck and in this reading, it is more about literally laying the groundwork for a relationship, for a future relationship. The next card that we have is the Three of Wands. So in this deck, it's partnerships and alliances. In the traditional tarot deck, it's kind of like waiting for your ships to come in. It's like a guy with three wands on a seashore. He's stepped through the portal of these two wands. He's holding on to the third, and he's looking out to the boats on the horizon, waiting for the boats to come back in. So it's like waiting for these things to come to fruition. In this card, it's partnerships and alliances, which we cannot ignore because I did choose this deck for a reason. And obviously we see two hands embracing here. It feels like this person, this guy, this girl that you're dealing with is like very traditional, and maybe you're not, because I am definitely noticing how the two hands are very different on this card. Like they seem like they come from different cultures, different places in the world. And maybe you're not used to this. Maybe he's just not very emotional with you, and he doesn't express his emotions very much. And he really loves in a very traditional way by like being stable, being loyal, doing what he says he's going to do, having integrity. God forbid people today, right? Which draws you to him, but also makes you wonder like what's really going on here, because he's not, there's no Knight of Cups or King of Cups, or it's like very earthy. It feels very earthy, but not in a bad way, just in more of, Yeah, again, very traditional sense. So maybe the ways that you're accustomed to feeling love or knowing how a relationship is going, this guy, this person is not expressing those ways. So it's confusing to you about what's going on here. And it's different. Like maybe you guys come from different cultures or different places in the world. And so you go about love in a different way. Maybe you're more of a non-traditional type. You are more sort of, for lack of a better word, like you're more of a hippie type and he's more conservative or something like that. And so, but you're drawn to him or her. Probably because of those differences, because the truth is opposites do attract, It's like we crave in the other what we don't have in ourselves. So don't be afraid of that. Let's see what the oracle cards have to say. You guys, you got true love. This is the romance of a lifetime. I mean, in the romance angels, besides the soulmate card, this is the best card you can get. So, yeah, I would say you absolutely have potential for marriage, partnership, true love with this person. And maybe what's going on is you are stepping into, like I said, when I first saw this, it didn't feel like, you know what I'm thinking? Because I did feel like he was emotionally withdrawing in some way, or she was emotionally withdrawing in some way. And maybe it's because you see the tide here? It's like a lot of times when we start a relationship, and particularly for men, they have this rubber band experience a lot of times. Different than women. It's like when we bond, we want to go rush more towards. Don't let me go. Where men, they need that time to separate and find their own grounding again. So maybe you guys just spent like a lot of time together or had some passionate experience together, and he's now withdrawn and maybe even shut down a little bit in some way. And you're interpreting that as distance, because it is distance, but that doesn't mean that he's not connected to you or that he doesn't want to be with you. It could very well just mean that he needed time. He needed time to emotionally come back within himself, resource himself in a lot of ways, and come back as that stable partner for you. Because maybe he is way more traditional than what you've experienced in your past. Beautiful. Then we got the card of not for you. Interesting. So this card is very literally, with a fortune cookie on it, not for you. I'm noticing the chess game. I'm noticing the chess game here. So it feels like there has been some games being played. Like some strategies, and maybe this person has been playing these games with you and you're not into it. It's like they have been pulling themselves back emotionally, and they have been like strategically playing this game inside of your relationship, and you don't like it. Normally, when I get this card, I would say, absolutely, this person is not for you, because that's literally what it means. It feels more complicated, obviously, in this regard, because we also got the true love card, right? So we don't have a lot of cups energy here that would indicate, except for the 8 of cups, but we don't have a lot of cups energy that would indicate this true love experience that we're having. But maybe that's because it just hasn't been expressed yet. but I do feel like there is potential there. I want to see what the last final card will be. I have a feeling it's going to sort of sum everything up for us, and then we'll just kind of put it all together, okay? So this was the card for your higher self that we wanted to pull. Challenges. You got the card of challenges. And it says, unbearable situations throw you directly into God's arms if you're open. Please take over, Divine, and guide the right actions. Please take this burden and show me your will. You know, it very well could be that this guy is showing the sort of negative attributes of the Emperor card, which can be very dominating and can be kind of, frankly, manipulative. This can absolutely be a guy who knows how to get what he wants, and or a girl, and uses tactics to get what they want. Now, not to make excuses for this person, but they probably do it because they, you know, are protecting themselves, because we all have been hurt in love, right? So they are probably using these tactics to get you to open up before they open up for themselves. They want you to do it first. Well, you don't have to do it first. You know, you absolutely have a choice here. And although there could be love in this situation, if you're not experiencing love and it's not fun for you, and all you're getting are these weird manipulations and this emotionally shutting down from this person, and that is what sustains itself over time, well, this is not the right person for you. I do believe that you can always ask the divine for help in these situations, because sometimes relationships are complicated, and sometimes when people are confronted with the experience of true love, they shut down emotionally. They walk away emotionally, and they get in their head and they start to try to control things. You know, people who control things are the most afraid of us all. You know, so this person that you're dealing with is probably terrified of you. They maybe have never been in love before, or maybe they have been hurt by love before. And so this love that they are experiencing with you is scaring the pants off them. And so they are doing these weird manipulations, these weird mind games even with you. And that isn't love, right? That is the antithesis of love, control and fear. That doesn't mean that they can't move out of that experience and open themselves up to you. But if they can't, then it's not the right person for you. And really, at the end of the day, only you can decide. Because what we're seeing right now is a snapshot, right? It is in this moment right now what your higher self, what the divine wants you to see about this relationship. And then ultimately, it is for you to choose. And I know you know that. So I just want to remind you of that, because I can see that this is complicated. There are challenges here. There are some weird mind games being played here. And there's also love. So what do? You ground yourself, you pray, you meditate, and you ask God for guidance. And sometimes, you know, when we can't see the path before us, the only thing we can do is pray about it and know and have faith that God will reveal the answers in divine timing. But if this person feels like they're manipulating and controlling you right now, and it doesn't feel good, then you absolutely can pull your own heart back. At the very least, even if you don't feel strong enough to walk away right now, you can energetically pull yourself back into your own body, you know? Stop diffusing all your energy towards this person. Even by watching this video alone, you know, it is, I know you're trying to get guidance, and that's great too. But I would caution you not to watch too many of these, because you are sort of extending your energy out to this person over and over again. And you really want to drop down into your own body and ask your higher self and God to connect with you, to give you the insight that you need for this person. So I can see the light and the shade in this dynamic. And I can see that it could go either way. It really could go either way. And I'm sorry, I know that's not the answer that you were looking for, but it seems very complicated to me, and time will tell. But I do know that it's okay for you right now to pull your energy back to yourself, to really pray, to connect yourself to your higher self. And you don't have to play these games. You know what I'm saying? You never have to engage in mind games with people. Either call them out right as you see them, or just simply don't even respond. Like if somebody is sending you weird text messages, or they're doing this hot and cold dance, you can just pull yourself back. You can just not respond. You can just decline the invitation. You can set your own standards, because maybe this is about you laying your own firm foundations in this relationship. You know, maybe it's about you taking on a little bit more of the emperor energy yourself, and not about taking control, because no one has control, right? That's an illusion. But really stepping into your own power and saying, this works for me, this doesn't work for me. I will not play these games for you. This is what I need. These are my boundaries. And either you can step up and fully open your heart to me and show up for this relationship, or not. And then I'll have to make my own choice from there. And I also know, I just want you to know that I know that this stuff can be so challenging at times, because life is never black and white. It's never easy. Love is complicated. Even the best of love can be so complicated. So my heart goes out to you. I can see that there are a lot of energies that are being represented here that are conflicting. So that's probably why you're at this pick a card. And I'm sorry that I can't give you just, a black and white answer. I wish that I could. But the reality is life is complicated, and it's always shifting and changing. So right now, these are the energies that we're looking at, but tomorrow they can be different, right? And it's about you not engaging in these games. My sense is that you've been sort of playing along with this person. Whatever BS they've been throwing at you, you've been playing those games with them. So they've continued to play them. But the minute you energetically pull yourself out of those games and you take a stand and declare, I will not engage in these games with you anymore. This is not for me. I am interested in true love and only true love. Things will shift. Either they'll fall away because they're not in alignment with true love, or they will start to shift and open themselves up and start to become the partner that you need. But it can absolutely start with you. 100% it can start with you. Connecting to your higher self and very literally praying to God. I don't know what your belief system is, but I do know that the divine is always here to guide us and show us what ways that we can learn and grow and become more better versions of ourselves, and also when things are for us or not for us. So I hope that gave you some clarity, some peace of mind. I would love to hear in what ways this resonated with you or didn't resonate with you in the comments below. If you feel comfortable sharing, I'd love to hear. If you liked this video, I'd love a thumbs up. That would be amazing. Even subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be doing pick a card readings every Sunday. So maybe there's a new one next Sunday that resonates with you. Also, if you want more support in really tapping into that own internal guidance system of yours, using your intuition, even getting a direct download from your higher self, I've created a really beautiful meditation that can support you in doing that, and I would love to give it to you for free. When you sign up for the free meditation, it'll also give you a discount code to work with me one-on-one for your first reading. You get a really nice discount. You can find this at canyanoracle.com/YT. It's also in the description box below. So I just thank you so much for your time and your attention. I send you so much love and light. And until next time, be well.